Welcome, comrades. My name is William Morrison. I'm your British Marxist-Leninist and anti-imperialist based in Scotland, and this is part 3 of my series covering Muammar Gaddafi's Green Book. So in this video, we will be exploring part 3, which is Gaddafi's idea on the party. This is the series where I go through each of Muammar Gaddafi's 28 points in the Green Book. I'll spend a video on each point. So this is the third series of the episode, and this is the party. What I do is I read out the respective passage, and then I summarize it, or I give some ideas, or I share my notes. This will be a little bit easier, because in this passage that I'm about to read out, Muammar Gaddafi highlights 10 very clear reasons why he opposes the party system in representative democracies. So I'm just going to, after I read out this passage, go through each of the 10 reasons again, just in case you guys didn't pick up on them. I'm not going to go into great detail. He explains it himself in his own words. I'm not going to plagiarize him. I'll just highlight the 10 that he raises in case you didn't pick them all up. So there you go. I'll go right into it. So this is part 3, The Party by Muammar al-Gaddafi. The party is a contemporary form of dictatorship. It is the modern instrument of dictatorial government. The party is the rule of a part over the whole. As a party is not an individual, it creates a superficial democracy by establishing assemblies, committees, and propaganda through its members. The party is not a democratic instrument because it is composed only of those people who have common interests, common perception, or a shared culture, or those who belong to the same region or share the same beliefs. They form a party to achieve their ends, impose their will, or extend the dominion of their beliefs, values, and interests to the society. A party's aim is to achieve power under the pretext of carrying out its program. Democratically, none of these parties should govern a whole people who constitute a diversity of interests, ideas, temperaments, regions, and beliefs. The party is a dictatorial instrument of government that enables those with common outlooks or interests to rule the people as a whole. Within the community, the party represents a minority. The purpose of forming a party is to create an instrument to rule the people, i.e., rule over non-members of the party. The party is fundamentally based on an arbitrary authoritarian concept, the domination of the members of the party over the rest of the people. The party presupposes that its accession to power is the way to attain its ends, and assumes that its objectives are also those of the people. This is the theory justifying party dictatorship, and is the basis of any dictatorship. No matter how many parties exist, the theory remains valid. The existence of the many parties intensifies the struggle for power, and this results in the neglect of any achievements for the people, and of any socially beneficial plans. Such actions are presented as a justification to undermine the position of the ruling party, so that an opposing party can replace it. The parties very seldom resort to arms in their struggle, but rather denounce and denigrate their actions of each other. This is a battle which is inevitably waged at the expense of the higher vital interests of the society. Some, if not all, of those higher interests will fall prey to the struggle for power between instruments of government, for the destruction of those interests supports the opposition in their argument against the ruling party or parties. In order to rule, the opposition party has to defeat the existing instrument of government. To do so, the opposition must minimise the government's achievements and cast doubt on its plans, even though those plans may be beneficial to the society. Consequently, the interests and programmes of the society become the victims of the party's struggle for power. Such struggle is, therefore, politically, socially, and environmentally destructive to the society. Never mind, I'll go on to it there. Despite the fact that it creates political activity. Thus, the struggle results in the victory of another instrument of government. the fall of one party and the rise of another. It is, in fact, a defeat of the people, i.e., a defeat for democracy. Furthermore, parties can be bribed and corrupted, either from inside or outside. Originally, the party is formed ostensibly to represent the people. Subsequently, the party leadership becomes representative of the membership, and the leader represents the party elite. It becomes clear that this partisan gain is a deceitful farce based on a false form of democracy. It has a selfish authoritarian character based on manoeuvres, intrigues, and political games. This confirms the fact that the party system is a modern instrument of dictatorship. The party system is an outright, unconvincing dictatorship, one which the world has not yet surpassed. It is, in fact, the dictatorship of the modern age. The parliament of the winning party is indeed a parliament of the party, for the executive power formed by this parliament is the power of the party over the people. Party power, which is supposedly for the good of the whole people, is actually the arch enemy of a fraction of the people, namely the opposition party or parties and their supporters. The opposition is, therefore, not a popular check on the ruling party, but rather is itself opportunistically seeking to replace the ruling party. According to modern democracy, the legitimate check on the ruling party is the party. The majority of those members are from the ruling party. That is to say, control is in the hands of the ruling party, and power is in the hands of the controlling party. Thus, the deception, falseness, and invalidity of the political theories dominant in the world today become obvious. From these emerge contemporary conventional democracy. The party represents a segment of the people, but the sovereignty of the people is indivisible. The party allegedly governs on behalf of the people, but in reality, the true principle of democracy is based upon the notion that there can be no representation in lieu of the people. The party system is the modern equivalent of the tribal or sectarian system. A society governed by one party is similar to one which is governed by one tribe or one sect. The party, as shown, represents the perception of a certain group of people, or the interests of one group in society, or one belief, or one region. Such a party is a minority compared to the whole people, just as the tribe and the sect are. The minority has narrow, common sectarian interests and beliefs, from which a common outlook is formed. Only the blood relationship distinguishes a tribe from a party, and indeed, a tribe might also be the basis for founding a party. There is no difference between party struggle and tribal or sectarian struggles for power. Just as tribal and sectarian rule is politically unacceptable and inappropriate, likewise the rule under a party system. Both follow the same path and lead to the same end. The negative and destructive effects of the tribal or sectarian struggle on society is identical to the negative and destructive effects of the party struggle. So, comrades, I just read part 3 of Muammar Gaddafi's 28-point The Green Book, which was on the party. So, very, very quickly, Gaddafi I highlighted 10 very distinct, clear reasons why he is vehemently opposed to the party system in representative democracies, or as he would call it, contemporary democracies. The first reason is that the party system creates an ideological hegemony on society. What he means by that is that whatever political ideology the ruling party has will be the one that is imposed on society. And over time, the ideology gets poisoned into the psyche of society and the mentality and common sense of society. This is a hegemony, a dictatorship of ideology. So that is the first reason why Gaddafi opposes this. It creates an ideological hegemony. The second reason is that the party system is not compatible with the diversity of society. He said at the very start that parties are people formed with the same opinions, same beliefs, same philosophies, same worldviews, sometimes same tribal alliances or religions. And he believes that such a uniformed party, such a party that represents only a few close like-minded people, can't possibly represent such a diverse society, a society with multiple languages, multiple religions, multiple people with a multiplicity of different political ideas. One single party can't represent everybody, and therefore it's not pure democracy. It's fake pseudo-democracy, he'd call it. So the uniformity of a political party is not compatible with the sheer diversity of society, of any society, no matter how uniformed it is. It will not work. Reason 3 why he hates the party system is because it is an authoritarian concept. It's the membership of a political party, i.e. the minority of the population, imposing their will on the vast majority of non-members of the society. It creates an antagonism, party versus non-party. That is an antagonism that Gaddafi is opposed to, and he thinks is stupid. Reason 4 why he opposes the party system is because the winning party assumes the right to carry out its will against the people. I.e. it assumes the support of the people. If a party wins an election or it takes over in a peaceful or violent coup d'etat, for example, it automatically assumes that it has justification to do whatever it wants. It gets to impose its will on the rest of the people, not actually communicating with the people and seeing whether or not that they are wanted or welcome. But no, if they win an election or they do access the power, they just assume that they do anyway, so they impose their will and their party line on the rest of the people, the rest of the population. And that is undemocratic, according to Muammar Gaddafi. Reason 5 why he opposes the party system is because even a multi-party democratic society is undemocratic, because it creates competition while ignoring the actual people. This political elite, with their different ideas and their idealistic views on society and how they think that they'd be so much better, this political elite, this bubble in society is created. And these form parties. And then they go out and campaign for their party. And all we have at the end of the day, consequently, is a very small minority of the political elite and the politically educated in society fighting for their own interests in the form of parties. They are fighting against themselves, but none of these parties, none of this political elite is actually communicating with the people, the masses. No one seems to care what they think and what they need and what they are worried about in society, what they actually need and want. The political elite aren't interested in that. They are completely divorced from the masses and they're too busy dogfighting amongst themselves. Reason 6 why Gaddafi is against the party system is because even opposition parties are not democratic, because playing devil's advocate all the time ignores the people. So the very function of an opposition party is to play devil's advocate. It is to go against, criticise and minimise the achievements of everything the ruling party does. Because the main function of an opposition party is to one day hopefully replace the ruling party. They themselves want to be the ruling party. So it's undemocratic. They don't actually listen to what the people need or what the people want. They only go against what the ruling party does, even if some of those things are actually good for the people. You know, governments aren't all wrong. Some governments, even all countries in the world, have good policies that actually do help people. And the opposition has to oppose that. So that's the function of an opposition party. So it's not democratic in Muammar al-Gaddafi's opinion. Even the existence of opposition parties do not mean that you have a pure, good, democratic society. It means that you have a bunch of political elite opportunists that want to take over. Politics is a constant fight for struggle. Reason 7 is, again, opposition parties are undemocratic because they are opportunists who want to replace the ruling party. So I just kind of touched on this, so I guess I could have merged those 2 points together. But yeah, the function of an opposition party is to obviously one day replace the ruling party, and they have to do that by criticising and undermining and downplaying everything that the ruling party does, good or bad. And that is not helping the people. There's no communication between the actual people, the masses. There's no communication. These political elite, this bubble, just assume what the people want. They assume what the people think. And usually they're wrong. Reason 8 is that the people always lose. A party will fall, a party will lose. A party will fall, a party will rise. A party will fall, a party will rise, and so on and so on and so on. We are in a perpetual system of party system oppression under representative democracies. And no party can change that, because all parties are a part of the problem, which is the fact that this is not a real democracy that we're living in. Representative democracies are not real democracies. So it doesn't matter what party is in power, the system stays the same, and therefore the people suffer. The people always lose. That is the 8th point. Reason 9 is that there's an isolation of representation, or a shift of focus in representation. So he mentions that originally parties were formed to represent the people. However, over time, as the party evolves, the party leadership stop really caring about representing the people, and they start focusing on representing the party membership. So what happens is a political elite is formed. And the function of that is to serve the party and represent the party and enforce a party line on its members. So that is completely divorcing itself from the masses. There's no direct involvement with the masses. It's just representatives and what they think the people want and people need. Again, it's an antagonism. It's member versus non-member. And that is not a healthy way to run a country. So parties do form an isolation in representation, where the longer a party exists for, the more narrow their representation is, and they start representing less and less people. And the last reason why Muammar al-Gaddafi opposes the party system is because, near the end, he says it's just a modern equivalent of sectarianism. It's yet again group antagonisms. It doesn't matter if it's the Protestants and Catholics in Northern Ireland, or the Muslims and Christians during the Crusades, or the tribal wars in Africa that happened even long before European colonialism. The history, the dialectics of history and human progress is struggle. There's always going to be a constant struggle for power, and evolutionary speaking, that is even a Marxist notion. It's a dialectic. History is always pushing forward, and it's getting pushed forward by conflict and antagonisms in society. That's a Marxist take. That's a Marxist position. So, in Muammar al-Gaddafi's opinion, representative democracy, or party politics, the party system, is just another form. It's a modern form of group antagonisms. It's parties fighting. It's different parties with different opposing ideas, fighting for political power and political authority. And according to Muammar al-Gaddafi, that is not a safe way to run society. He wants more direct democracy. He wants there to be no party affiliations or party alliances. He wants all of the people as individuals to come together and share their ideas. That was his vision for a pure, direct democracy. Thousands of people in these massive arenas, just debating and fighting and arguing over their own personal, individual ideas. They're not affiliated or have to be allegiant to any political party. They're only allegiant to their self and what they think personally. And they'll fight it out in a huge arena, and then they will have a vote. That was the Jamahiriya. That was the Muammar al-Gaddafi's a vision for democracy. So he was completely opposed to the party systems, and he was completely opposed to representative democracy. But this has been 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope this has been informative for you, and I hope one day you can memorize the 10 reasons why Muammar al-Gaddafi was opposed to the party system. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I look forward to you watching more videos. Thank you, and I'll see you later.